breads, cereal, and fizzy drinks linked to higher cancer rates. IMF says world not heading for 2023 recession. Ukraine gets fighter jets from Poland and Baltic nations. Germany seizes on Silicon Valley's downturn. Texas Senate to ban specific communities from buying property. South Korea slides towards recession. Iran dancing couple given 10-year jail sentence. Michael Jackson's nephew to star in King of Pop biopic.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Thursday, February 2nd, and here are your top stories. According to a comprehensive study, eating more ultra-processed foods may increase a person's risk of developing cancer. The new research found that rates of ovarian and brain cancers, in particular, were higher among those who consume ultra-processed foods, which account for about half the calorie intake in some developed countries. Specifically, the study found every 10 percentage point increase in the consumption of ultra-processed foods was linked to a 90% increase in the risk of developing ovarian cancer.
Ultra-processed foods, which include fizzy drinks, mass-produced packaged breads, many ready meals, and most breakfast cereals, are often high in salt, sugar, fat, preservatives, and coloring. The new study found there was a 6% greater likelihood of actually dying from cancer for every 10 percentage points increase in ultra-processed food consumption. For ovarian cancer, the increase in the chance of dying was 30%, while for breast cancer it was 16%. The new study was published in eClinical Medicine, a publication which is linked to the Lancet Medical Journal.
The International Monetary Fund has given a brighter outlook in its latest report than in October, predicting that inflation will slow. It said that European economies had shown more resilience than expected. The report said global inflation is expected to fall from 8.8% in 2022 to 6.6% in 2023 and 4.3% in 2024. The fund did not expect global GDP to shrink. And IMF chief economist Pierre-Olivier Gourinchas said we are well away from any sort of global recession marker.
The economy, it's going to have an impact on the supply side.
The IMF said global economic growth is predicted to fall from 3.4% in 2022 to 2.9% in 2023, and then rise to 3.1% in 2024. The organization noted that the world economy still faced serious risks, including Russia's war against Ukraine, potential future waves of COVID-19 in China, and high interest rates leading to crisis in countries saddled with considerable debt. The fund called for the strengthening of debt restructuring frameworks, suggesting it believes some countries are likely to at least struggle to serve their debts without preventive measures.
Ukraine won support on Tuesday from Baltic nations and Poland in its quest to obtain Western fighter jets. In the Latvian capital of Riga at a news conference with Baltic and Polish colleagues, Estonian Foreign Minister Umas Sprintsolu said Ukraine needs fighter jets, missiles, tanks. We need to act. Those countries, which lie on NATO's eastern flank, feel especially threatened by Russia and have been the leading advocates for providing military aid.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov held talks with his French counterpart, saying they did not discuss specific fighter jets, but did talk about aviation platforms to help Ukraine's ground-to-air defense. French Defense Minister Sébastien Lecornu, speaking alongside Reznikov, said there are no taboos on sending fighter jets. French President Emmanuel Macron said Monday that France doesn't exclude sending fighter jets to Ukraine, but he laid out multiple conditions before such a step is taken.
Faced with the tight labor market and a shortage of workers with key software engineering skills, some German companies are looking at thousands of layoffs in Silicon Valley as an opportunity to recruit top talent. According to IT industry group Bitkom, Germany has considerable holes in its labor force with 137,000 IT jobs unfilled. Meanwhile, Google parent Alphabet, Microsoft, and Facebook owner Meta have announced a combined almost 40,000 job cuts. The mass redundancies have created a pool of job seekers that Germany is eager to tap.
Reinhard Zugehör, the chief people officer at Cariad, which is the software subsidiary of automaker Volkswagen, said they fire, we hire. We have several hundred open positions in the US, in Europe, and in China. Judith Gerlach, the digitalization minister in Germany's wealthiest region of Bavaria, wrote a LinkedIn post addressed to the recently laid off, which said, I would like to coordinately invite you to move to Bavaria. alleged belief that strong labor protection might prove attractive to the newly jobless.
I always needed time on my own. I never thought I could be here.
I take your blessings with your heartaches too. It's so easy and so wonderful to know it's you.
学习，一切从今天开始。FUNDAY 英语。
Two pieces of legislation in the Texas Senate, Bills 147 and 552, both of which have been authored by Republican lawmakers, aim to add regulations that would ban people with ties to four countries, China, Iran, North Korea, and Russia, from purchasing real estate or property in the state. The latter bill, 552, relates to the purchase of agricultural land by companies with ties to the four countries. Texas Governor Greg Abbott tweeted on January 15th, "I will sign it," in support of Bill 147.
Republican officials say it's to prevent espionage and attacks from adversaries, but Democrats say it hurts migrants who are fleeing those same threats.
Bill 147, filed by Republican State Senator Lois Colcourts in November 2022, will effectively prevent people with ties to four countries, China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran, from purchasing Texas property or real estate if passed. Colcourt said the bill will not apply to those fleeing the tyranny of those governments who seek freedom in Texas. She said, "This has always been about common sense, safeguards against Russians, North Koreans, Chinese, and Iranian authoritarian regimes."
Reuters reported that South Korea's economy inched toward its first recession in 3 years as data on Wednesday showed its January trade deficit soared to a record high thanks to a plunge in exports caused by a combination of long holidays and cooling global demand. Asia's fourth largest economy, which relies heavily on trade for growth, shrank by 0.4% in the October-December quarter and is now on the brink of falling into what would be its first recession since the middle of 2020, during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic.
But rather rapidly rising prices that threaten countries around the world.
The media said that Korea's exports fell 16.6% in January from a year earlier. Trade Ministry data showed worse than an 11.3% decline predicted in a Reuters survey and the fastest drop in exports since May 2020. Meanwhile, its import fell 2.6% compared with a year earlier. As a result, the country posted a monthly trade deficit of $12.69 billion. The Korean Trade Ministry data showed that sluggish trade performance in January was a 44.5% dive in semiconductor exports and a whopping 31.4% plunge in sales to China.
An Iranian couple in their 20s have been given jail sentences totaling 10 years after posting a video of themselves dancing in the street. They were reportedly convicted for promoting corruption, prostitution, and propaganda. The video showed them dancing by Tehran's Azadi Tower. The couple did not link their dance to the ongoing protests in Iran. A source has confirmed to BBC Monitoring that the couple's arrest came after they posted the video to their Instagram accounts.
A young Iranian couple has been sentenced to 10 years behind bars for dancing.
BBC reported that 21-year-old Estiesh Hakhlikli and her 22-year-old fiancé Amir Mohammed Ahmadi are said to be convicted of promoting corruption and prostitution, colluding against national security, and propaganda against the establishment. The family home of Ms. Akhlidi was raided before the arrest. She listed her profession as a fashion designer. According to reports, they were also handed a 2-year ban on using social media and leaving the country. Their Instagram account has a combined following of nearly 2 million.
Lionsgate announced on Monday that Michael Jackson's 26-year-old nephew, Jafar Jackson, will play the King of Pop in the planned biopic Michael. The film will be directed by Antoine Fuqua and produced by Oscar-winning Bohemian Rhapsody producer Graham King. Jafar Jackson is the second youngest son of Jermaine Jackson, Michael's brother. He has put out music of his own. In 2019, he released his debut single, Got Me Singing. Michael will be Jackson's acting debut.
The 26-year-old rising star is set to play the iconic singer.
Will be an authorized portrait of the pop star Michael Jackson, who died in 2009. The film, scripted by Gladiator and The Aviator screenwriter John Logan, is being produced with the cooperation of the singer's estate. On Twitter, Jackson said, "He's humbled and honored to bring my uncle Michael's story to life." Fuqua said in a statement that Jackson has a natural ability to emulate Michael and such a great chemistry with the camera. Michael is to begin shooting this year.
FUNDAY News will help you sharpen your English skills and keep you informed about international current events. If you want to know more about our other programs and keep learning about the world's most important topics in English, please click the link in the description below to join FUNDAY for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I will see you next time.